Morning there, everybody. Welcome along to our CAS 360 Essentials training webinar for July. For those of you that might not be familiar with myself, my name is Ra Williams and I'm the account manager here in New Zealand. Really looking forward to taking you through our Essentials training webinar today. This is going to be great for both perhaps new users at a firm as well as existing users that might be wanting to check out other functions or see what else there might be that they could be utilizing that will help enhance their own workflows and efficiencies as such. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping around today's webinar. So, as mentioned, this is going to be really helpful for both if you are a new user or looking to get it set up and learn the tips and tricks around the software as such, or if you're already at a firm and using CAS 360 but wanted to see what some of the other functions look like, this will be a great demonstration to be able to guide you through that and see exactly how that would work in your very own license as well. Now, if you do have any questions along the way, you are more than welcome to reach out and you can chat with our panelists in the Zoom Q&A chat box. Speaking of panelists, we've got a great team with us today, and this includes Kajal, who is one of our New Zealand Business Development Managers, Shami, who is one of our CAS 360 Product Managers, and this webinar will also be recorded. So it's roughly going to be about a 3 hour webinar. But with that, we will also be looking to take a 10-minute tea break halfway through-ish. So you can get up, stretch your legs, do as you need to do as well. Now, what I will also have put into the Zoom chat box is our CAS 360 Essential Training Manual link. One of my panelists will go ahead and drop that in there for you shortly. But essentially, what that is it's the training document that a lot of this webinar is actually based off of. So if you ever wanted to refer back to anything or you just wanted to have that document on hand, you are more than welcome to refer back to that one. However, do remember this webinar will be recorded, so it's not like you're going to miss out on anything, and it will end up being up on our YouTube channel alongside all the other great content that is there. So, in terms of the topics that I'll be looking to cover today, this is going to cover a little bit of everything, including how you can get started if you've just been invited to CAS 360 as a new user at a firm, giving you some insights around the homepage and the navigation tabs that are available for you to utilize, as well as things such as our handy dandy alerts, core features and functions such as annual returns, office holder and shareholder changes, how you can go about processing and preparing multiple company changes, essentially being able to prepare a range of different items for multiple companies in the click of a few buttons, how you can go about filing, as well as where your documents and the document screen can be found and utilized, and some of our other core features that are available, such as the trust functions, reports that are available, the settings you can have set up and able to adjust, as well as our very neat AML compliance workflow and identity verification options that are available for you to use. So without further ado, let us get started. Now, to access CAS 360, what you will want to do is head on over to www.bglcorp.co.nz. And once you're in here, what you will see is there is this nice orange login button, and you'll be able to go ahead and choose CAS 360. Now, do bear in mind the account owner or the administrator users at the firm must have first invited you in order for you to access the firm's CAS 360 license. But for those that might be looking to do that or invite new users to their license, do know that I will also be covering this step shortly. But once they've been invited in, they'll be able to log in using their email and the password they've set up to access the software. Now, once you've logged in, what you will be able to do is you can go ahead and select your firm. If you're operating across multiple firms, what you will see is you'll be able to see that there are multiple firms available for you to choose. but simply just select the one you're looking to work out of, and then you'll be able to hit go to CAS 360, and this is going to bring you into the software as such. Now, one of the first things you might be looking to do is, if you are new to the software and you are wanting to first connect up to company's office so you can have that great integration take place, what you would end up seeing is this getting started section here. And what you would want to do is choose importing data, and then you'll be able to go ahead and select the New Zealand jurisdiction. And from here you can choose to continue to company's office. And essentially what this will do is take you to the company's office to log in with your RealMe details. Now, once you've done that, what will essentially happen is it'll allow you to authorize the connection between company's office and CAS 360 so that we can pull over the data that you've currently got associated with that particular agent. And this is going to bring over all that core information such as key company details around the company name as well as the company number, but also all the items such as the current addresses, current directors, current shareholders, and their shareholder balance. So you're going to have that great integration take place, bringing over and providing you with all that information right here at your fingertips within the software. Now, what you will also be able to do is if you did want to see the list that allows you to choose what companies you will be importing in from that stage, you can always refer back to this by hitting Prepare Agent Form and choosing Request Authorized Companies List. And from here, this is essentially going to show you that same list that you are authorized for and all the companies associated with that login. And you'll be able to then import in those companies as mentioned, or revisit this at a later date if there was other companies you might have wanted to import in, or if not, just refer to that list and the companies that are associated with that login. Now, what you will also see here is those that you have imported in will show as already added, and they'll have that nice little tick mark as such. But what you can choose to do is if there are any that will yet to be imported in, it will be highlighted in blue and say ready for import as such. And you will then be able to go ahead and select it and choose to import those additional companies in. Otherwise, you can always choose to deselect companies as such through here as well and check out that list further. Fantastic. So that's going to give you a little bit more of an idea as to obviously how you can connect your RealMe account to CAS 360, bring in those companies for you to work with. But now what I will take you through is this top navigation bar up here. So first off on the left hand side, what you will see is that we have a search bar available. Essentially, you'll be able to search for any company, contact, or other item listed within your company and contact screen that you might like to check out and head directly to. So here we can see it's showing us some of the companies I've got, some of the contacts I've got loaded up, as well as the joint member contacts that I've got available in my database. If we keep moving along from there, what you will see next is these orange buttons here, with the first one listed as a community page or community button. If you go ahead and check that one out further, what this will bring you to is our community page. So this is essentially a place where other fellow CAS 360 users such as yourself are able to go ahead and check out any posts in relation to any particular topic. Or if you'd like, you can even go ahead and start a new post and check out how other users may be going about a particular feature or function within CAS 360, or how they might be going about that within their own workflow, and how you could compare notes as such. Heading back to here, what we will see just next to that is we also have a feedback button. So Feel free to submit any feedback or any additional improvements or modifications you think would be a great fit or feature to be seen within CAS 360. Doesn't matter how little or small that item may be, always welcome to send through any item you would like for us to check out further, and if able to, the team will be more than happy to consider that in a future release wherever possible. This also does include if you're loving a particular feature as well, you're also more than welcome to send that through, and this way both myself and the team will be able to be kept across the loop on anything you're loving as well. Just next to that there, you do have this bell icon or the notification section. This one I will be coming back to spend a little bit further on, but essentially this is where you'll be able to find all your notifications from transactions and items within CAS 360 as such. Now, next to that, you've got a little help or question mark icon. And what you will be able to do is you'll be able to find both our New Zealand help articles and guides within here, as well as our new feature notes, being some of the core items that you might likely use most often here. But let's go ahead and check out the New Zealand CAS 360 Knowledge Base Centre. From within here, once again, you'll be able to find a whole range of helpful articles, both being able to search for something or checking them out if you're just simply wanting to see what you might be wanting to get familiar if you are just getting started with CAS 360 as such. As mentioned, however, you do have a search bar, so if there was a particular function or feature you were looking for, you can simply type that in, and then what you will be able to see is our help guide that demonstrates this process with some helpful imagery, as well as what each section in that transaction refers to. And even more helpful, of course, is seeing what forms will be prepared alongside that transaction when done in CAS 360. Now, another great resource for you to utilize is our live chat option. So we do have a live chat that you can use to reach our support team, which is between the hours of 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. New Zealand time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Australian time, but we're based in New Zealand for this, of course. So do feel free to check this one out as it's a little bit similar to New Zealand Knowledge Base Centre, except this time you can go ahead and ask a particular question, and it will also keep a history of everything as well. So what you can see is here I've asked if and how I can prepare a director interest register. It's then gone ahead and given me the tips to be able to do so. And then it's also referenced a whole bunch of help articles from our knowledge base that might also be of help and other features that surround this as such. To simply view that article though, you can hit view article and that'll take you directly to it. Now, we'll also ask if this was something you were after, and you can either let it know it was or if it wasn't. And if you simply hit no, it will be able to give you the option to be able to talk to one of our support team members by hitting speak to a human. And during those business hours that they are available, they will get back to you within the next couple of minutes. If you do just access them a little bit too early or before those business hours, e.g. before 11 a.m. in New Zealand time, do just know that they will reach out to you shortly after 11 a.m. anyhow, so you are still more than welcome to let the team know you would like them to get in touch, and they will be more than happy to provide assistance once they're up and running. Now, what you do also have the option to do is if you wanted one of the support team members to give you a call, you can hit that support or phone icon as such. Now, what it will first guide you to is seeing if there is a particular article that might be of help as such. Here you can see once again it'll refer to some of the items in our knowledge base center. Here you can see a whole bunch of articles that might be of assistance. If not though, you can always choose to hit that option in the bottom right corner that says log a support call. From here, you can choose whether you would like to be emailed or if you would like them to give you a call as such. List out your phone number, what the problem statement or issue might be in relation to that you would like a little bit of help around. Can also go ahead and add in any free text that might help the team assist you on this, as well as dropping in any screenshots that will also help reference the issue or assistance you're after. Now, what I do always suggest as well is that you toggle on this option here, which says, would you like to provide support with access to your account? Essentially, what this means is that the support team can then access your firm's license and see exactly what you're seeing and go ahead and be able to assist you a whole lot faster and know exactly what you are dealing with and see what you're seeing essentially. Once done, hit send, and that'll go ahead and be logged with our support team, and one of them will be able to reach out to you as soon as they're available. But once again, for any little quick queries as such as well, I recommend using their support live chat option. But if there's something else you need a little bit further assistance on and wanted someone to call back, you've always got that support call option as well. Now, there is the sign out button, which I'm not going to dwell on too much as it does what it sounds like it does. But just next to that, we do have our app switcher. So if you go ahead and click on that one there, what it will expand out to is it's going to show you three great other items here. First one being your integrations. So if you click on that there, that'll take you through and you'll be able to see the integrations that are available, and you'll be able to also turn on and connect any of those integrations you might want to have established between CAS 360. Just next to that, you've got your learning channel, which is a great platform with a whole bunch of other educational content, more so in visual and video form. So if you have a preferred learning style and have, would like to check that one out further, do feel free to. It has been revamped as of recently as well. So that one covers a lot more of the recent updates that we've been putting out, as well as having more content that is tailored to New Zealand users such as yourself, and is a great place to get more familiar with all of the functions that we'll be going over today, as well as some of the other areas that are available. Now, just next to this here, and this is going to be a key one for those that might be looking to invite a user to CAS 360 or adjust users settings. So for those with administrator or account owner access, this is probably going to be a key area for them. Simply going into that one here, what you will be able to see is you have your user manager or invitation section, but we'll just check out the user manager in this instance. What you will be able to do within here is you'll be able to see that those that you have invited in so far, and you can also go ahead and invite in a new user by using that button, simply adding in your preferred email of the person you're inviting to use CAS 360, their first and last name, and what type of access or role settings you would like them to have within the software. Can also choose to invite multiple people all in at the one time, so super simple to invite others that might be using the license as well. But what you can also do is just underneath that admin section once again is within the role settings, you will also be able to see what each of those roles and their settings and accessibility looks like. Simply bouncing between the two of them, or other option will be able to go ahead and show you what it is that they are able to do. But what you can also choose to do is set up a new user role. So this might be great if you have a new staff member or an intern at your firm and you did want them to be able to do certain things but not other items. Simply setting up as a new user role, and you can go ahead and choose to toggle on or off what items they may or may not have access to and are able to access. Now, the intern example was just my common scenario you might end up coming across. You can literally set that up for whatever else it is that you might have in mind, and do check this out a little bit further if that is of interest as well. Awesome. So that's going to give you a better idea of the top toolbar that's available and all the resources that are there for you to utilize. Do feel free to go and check that one out further, as there is a whole lot of helpful resources available there, both between the New Zealand Knowledge Base, the Learning Channel, as well as being able to access our support team and have them get in touch with you if you are needing any assistance too. Now, I did reference the notifications section, which I would like to come back to and spend a little bit more time on. Essentially, this is the notification section covering all of your things that have been coming going from CAS 360 as transactions you've prepared, or let's say any documents that you have digital signing integrations turned on for, or anything else like that. You will also get all those notifications coming back to you from here as such too. Now what you will be able to do is see as it's broken up into a few different areas between all your notifications. So this is simply everything, but you can also check out any that you might not have seen just yet. And what you will have the option to do as well is you can also choose to set up the settings within this so that you can actually receive email reminders from CAS 360. So if you simply toggle this on here, that you do wish to receive email reminders from CAS 360, what you will be able to see is a range of toggles that you can choose to toggle on or off. And then these are the items that CAS 360 will send you an email about. So maybe you wanted to be informed about any failed emails, rejected lodgements, or perhaps annual returns where they are processed but yet to be filed. All of that good stuff is completely up to you. And you can also go ahead to choose if you receive that email daily, weekly, or even fortnightly. Now you can also choose to go ahead and select which day you will receive that email and go as far as setting up what time that one will come as well. So you can really tweak this to suit it to your own working style and preference and how you manage your own inbox, as to make sure it's going to be something you can see easily and within a nice period of the day as well. Now once done, just be sure to go ahead and hit save, and then those settings will then be applied. And just like that, I'll now end up receiving email reminders from CAS 360. Now what you can also do is you can see that there is a little search bar up the top there. So if there's a particular item you were searching for in reference to a particular company, you can always search for it through there. But what you do also have the option to be able to do is expand on this by hitting See All Messages. This will then actually take you through to the Messages section as listed on the left toolbar there. And this is essentially an expanded version of that notifications box that's available there. As you can see, it's got all the core details of your inbox listed here. So obviously what company or contact entity that a transaction wasn't related to. And we can see that for this one here, documents have been signed for a particular company. And at what time, the fact that it was digitally signed, and if we wanted to view that one as well. Now you do have the outbox, which is essentially all the items you've sent out from CAS 360 or the transactions that you've prepared and sent off to clients as such. You will be able to see the status that references the email that it was delivered to, as well as also being able to view that email. So if a client advises that they haven't received an email, but you've actually got that email in hand and can see that they've received it, and perhaps they've just lost it in their inbox somewhere, you can simply head through here and choose to hit send, and that'll end up resending another copy of that right through to them. So nice and easy, and you'll also be able to see all the tracking of details around the timing of that as well. Now the pending outbox is going to show any automated document reminders that you might have set up. This is something we'll be touching on a little bit later in our webinar there. So if you are wanting to see if you have any of those already set up, you will be able to see all your pending future ones within here. Your ID verification references your ID verifications that you have processed or are processing as at this time, giving you a status as to what's happening there, or those that you have completed and that have come back as passed or failed. Now, what you will also notice on the left-hand side, there are always advanced filters for you, both between the outbox, the inbox, and ID verification side of things. There's always advanced filters, so you can choose whether you wanted to look at something within a particular date range, such as those items that were sent off today, sent this week, or even sent off this month. Same applies to your inbox, any items that you have read already, all of them being available, maybe those that you haven't checked out yet, this month's alerts, and so on. Now, speaking of alerts, one of our key little areas that you'll hopefully be getting more familiar with in the software is our smart alerts available on the CAS 360 screen. So that's referencing these three icons here. So these are what we call our smart alerts, with the first one being our annual return alert. So if you simply click on that one there, you'll be able to get a nice little indication that, hey, this company actually has an annual return that is due this month. This is then broken up and sectioned into different color codes. So depending on what color that is, you'll be able to check out what exactly is going on there. And of course, if any have passed, you'll typically see that as a nice dark red color, so really helping you keep on track of what is due, what's coming up, and any other items as such. Just next to that, you've got your health alert. This health alert is going to reference any of a if there's any mismatches that have been found on the company's office versus the data you've got within your CAS 360 database. So this is a daily check, and we can see that, hey, a total of 3 mismatches was found earlier today at 7:37 a.m. when compared up against what's in company's office versus what you've got within your database as of this moment. So this is going to be really helpful if you've got a client that's actually gone ahead and updated their details within company's office and have forgotten to inform you. Straight away you'll be able to see that there will be a address discrepancy or a mismatch that's been found, and you will simply be able to follow up with the client to confirm that they might have done so and update or import that over from company's office to reflect and have that within your own database and make sure everything matches up as such. Now you will be able to see if there what type of mismatch has been found simply by heading into that health alert, and you can also go straight to it by heading into it when clicking on that little section there to show you what that discrepancy is and how you can go about actioning that when looking into it further. Last but not least, we have our compliance alert. So this is going to be really helpful for if you've got the compliance workflow toggled on, as well as if you've got any identity documents attached to any particular contacts in said company. So here we can see that we've actually got a notification advising us that, hey, the driver's license for said contact has expired, and we can simply click on the Go to Compliance section to then go about updating that if we have the new copy available. What you will otherwise, however, be notified of is if items or identity information is perhaps incomplete, if the compliance review is now overdue, and a range of information as well as items to help you keep on top of your compliance and due diligence requirements as such. Now, if you are ever unsure of what the colors might reference, you can also check out the alert section, and the little legend will end up breaking this down into what those all mean further, and of course what each color references. Now, once again, as sort of mentioned previously, on the left-hand side, what you will see is advanced filters. As we always do, typically have advanced filters available for you on each screen. And for this one here, what we will be able to see is we can break it down by if we are just wanting to check out the annual return alert and perhaps those that are due. This then simply filters down what we are seeing to only those ones there, maybe those where the date is passed, and so on. Now, this can also be applied to your AML and compliance alert. You can check out maybe where you've just got the identity documents expired or where there is the review that's required as such. Now, if your health alert, nice and straightforward, simply clicking on that is just going to show you any of your companies where a mismatch has been found with the company's office. And of course, if you just want to view all your companies, simply selecting that option to do so, and this will bring you back to be able to see all of your companies that are available. Wonderful. So this is hopefully going to give you a bit more of an idea as to obviously the company screen and the alerts, and obviously keeping on top of everything with the notifications and the alerts as such. But now let's go ahead and check out one of the key processes that your firm might already be doing, or maybe if you're a new user, something that you'll be looking to do quite a bit yourself within CAS 360, and that is annual returns. So to access and prepare annual returns, you will be able to do so using the return section here. But what I would also like to reference is within our report section, you do actually have a annual return listing report that is available for you to use. And this is going to simply draw on all those companies you have loaded into CAS 360, but does allow you to set that annual return period and filter that down as such. But for today's example, I'm just going to go ahead and leave everything as per. Go ahead and export that one out as a PDF file. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at that, it's going to also show us that return month, and the return is due, and the current return status, and that status date. So here we can see for this company here, we can see that the annual return has been signed by the client as of earlier this week. Wonderful. That one just needs processing as such, and you'll also be able to filter that within your document screen as per. For the likes of this one, or these two here, however, though, we'll notice that, hey, that one hasn't been prepared, but it does have a label attached to it advising we're not going to be filing that one. Perhaps they file it themselves. And the same with this one here. That is not prepared yet as such. Bearing in mind that one is listed for June, however, but just for a reference or example, if you will. But once again, do check out this annual return listing report. There's obviously something you can also tweak so you can only just see your preferred month as such. And there's also a few other settings you're able to utilize as well. Now heading back to our return screen, let's go ahead and start digging into this one a little bit further and how you can utilize that as such. So what you will notice is once again you've got the filters on the left hand side, and what you will also see on your main screen here is the annual returns you've got set within that date range there. If we did perhaps just want to change that one over to see just July, you can also choose to go ahead and adjust that as per, and you can also put that forward if you're wanting to see what's coming up in future months or anything else as such maybe. Now, what you will also notice is we've got the comparison report, and essentially what this is it's a section similar to a health alert letting you know of if there's any mismatches between company's office data and what's recorded in your CAS 360 database there. You can simply click on this one as well, and it's actually going to go ahead and expand further to then go ahead and show you what those mismatches are and where that is, whether it's on your side, on company's office side, and of course it's highlighted in red as well to give you that instant visualization as to what might be out of place. Now you can also choose to download this one out to a PDF file, so definitely a lot of options there for you to be able to check that out. Now let's actually go ahead and look at the process of preparing an annual return. So let's say I want to prepare the annual return for this company here, RMW Limited. I can see it's also passed our comparison report, which is great. Now what you can do is you can just simply go ahead and choose to prepare the documents for this, and this will bring you to our document production screen. Here you will also get a little snippet of the transaction you're preparing. So it's the 2025 annual return for said company that is due at the end of this month. Now you've also got a range of documents that CAS 360 will help prepare for you. You can simply choose to have these included or not by toggling them on or off. And if you did want to preview what that document looks like, you can simply click on it, highlight in blue, and you'll be able to get a preview of what that document looks like. And this is the exact same copy as the client will end up seeing and reviewing themselves. And of course, we can see it's got all the key and core information around that company and for the annual return document as such. You can also do the same with any of those listed there. Here we're viewing that solvency resolution and of course the cover letter that's available too. Now what you will also notice is that there are these options next to each of those document types. So for some firms, we know that actually they do like their clients to sign off on the annual return document. So one of the more commonly used toggles is to be able to turn that print declaration signature section on. But what you will also be able to update is perhaps I wanted to change that director over from this one to a different director to sign off on that one. You can simply go ahead and select that by doing so. And if you've also got any other templates you've already previously set up or are wanting to use a different template outside of the base one we have provided there for you, you can simply choose to access that from here. And I've got one I've previously set up, so I'll go ahead and select that there. Now if we go ahead and hit save, what we will see is there is the pen icon that's been added next to the annual return. And if we go ahead and preview the annual return now, what we will notice is it's quite different. I've made some changes to the font, the detail, added a nice little bit of branding behind the document there as such. And most importantly, we've got that declaration signature section for that director I changed it over to. So super straightforward and simple to be able to make any changes you wish. And as mentioned, if you maybe didn't want these other documents to be sent off, you can simply toggle that off and they won't be included. Now, what I will also be touching on is our digital signing integrations that we do have available. So we do have DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and FuseSign available for digital signing, and now they are all available to be used for your transactions here, and it's all going to be able to be processed and filed with Companies Office as well, which is great. So anytime you actually see you've got that pen icon, but it's highlighted in green, this just simply means that you've got digital signing enabled. Can also see that that's referenced up the top here where it says that there is the one document that is going to be signed using in today's digital signing integration example of FuseSign. Now you can also check this out by having a look at your electronic signing options. And perhaps if you have a client that maybe uses one and you've got multiple digital signing integrations, you can always flick between them through here as well. And if you're wanting to turn off digital signing, you can simply hit none. And what you'll notice is that pen icon is still there, but it's now being grayed out as such. But I will actually be walking us through the digital signing option, so I'll leave that as view sign. We can see that that's now being toggled back on and listed as green. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll now send that one out, and I'll even be able to show you what that looks like with the inbox and the digital signing process that the client would also go through themselves. Now what we'll do is we'll simply choose to hit that send all button. This is then going to take us to the preview email section where you'll be able to preview what the email looks like, if there's any additional content you maybe wanted to add in, such as if it's an urgent email, you can always add an additional text here. Do also have the option to be able to obviously make it bold, highlight it, anything else you might wish to do, you will be able to do so within this little preview. But do bear in mind, just like all of our documents, they are all customizable templates, and so are the emails as well. But if there's any last minute changes you might want to do, you can always do them in this section here. But otherwise, you can see, do feel free to add in your logo, add in any other text that you would prefer or your firm would like to use instead. And what you will also notice is we've got some text codes that are also in use as well. Essentially what this means is that it's going to auto-populate based on the transaction and person you're sending that one off to. So you're not obviously having to type out that each and every time. And this will be automatically done. So you can just set up that one template and it'll use that moving forward. And of course, you've got the option to be able to CC, BCC, and adjust that subject line as needed. And a quick little fun fact for you as well, you can also use text codes in the subject line too. So let's say if we also want to have that listed for the subject line, simply added that one in. This is just an example, of course. We do have a range of text codes and whatnot, which I will dwell on later. You could list that as the company name, you can add in the company number, whatever else that it is that you wish, and you can also include the annual return year too. But let's say I'm happy with that. I'll choose to have that one sent off. Wonderful. That has now been sent off. Now, just before we head over to my inbox and check that one out a little bit further, I did just also want to give you a bit of a heads up that you do also have the ability to do bulk filing or bulk preparation of annual returns as well. So what you will notice is you've actually got some tick boxes next to each of the companies here. So let's say I actually wanted to prepare the annual returns for both of these companies here. What you will then see highlighted once you've selected that is you've got these two buttons now available for you to use. So let's say I did want to prepare the annual return documents for these two companies. You can simply choose to hit prepare documents. It's going to give you a warning that, hey, these companies have failed our comparison report, but in today's example, I'm just going to proceed through. And what we will now be able to see is similar to our document production screen we were looking at before. You will be able to go ahead and see what document template that company is going to be receiving, and perhaps if you wanted to change it over, super simple and straightforward to do so. And we can also see that for this company here, an extensive shareholding list has automatically been turned on, and we've got that one being sent off and included to them too. Now you do also, as referenced just before, have the ability to be able to change the email template that's going to be making its way out. So once again, you've got all those great options available to you, so you can quickly prepare and send off multiple annual returns all in the one go. Now, one item you might have noticed that is up the top as well is that it's got this section advising us that automated document reminders are on. So if you have already set these up, it's simply just going to show that toggle there. But if you didn't want perhaps these clients to receive a reminder, you can choose to toggle that off. But otherwise, if you have your annual return document reminder settings enabled and set up, that's just giving you a heads up that these clients will also end up receiving a reminder in the following days once that reminder kicks in if nothing has been sent back and lodged yet. Once done, however, you'll just simply choose to deliver that by email, and that'll then make its way out to said clients. Now I'm just going to exit out this screen here because what you can also choose to do, let's say these two companies have actually advised me, yep, no changes, everything's the exact same as per last year. Please feel free to go ahead and file my annual return for me. You're also getting no mismatches with the comparison report, so obviously confirms both your data lines up as such, and the directors have given you the go ahead. You can choose to hit the lodge annual returns, and this will actually skip over the document preparation process and go straight to filing the annual returns as marked. So what you will also have the option to see is the authorized signatory or the agent for that one there, the organization that you're filing that for, and once you hit proceed, that'll go ahead and file those through to company's office. So a nice little option there for you to check out is bulk annual return filing and preparation. Definitely suggest this for those firms that have a lot of annual returns to process, especially in each month. Makes life a whole lot easier. And if you're not already doing this, do feel free to check that one out, as it's going to be of massive help and save you even more time doing so. Now let's head on into our inbox and we can now take a look at our annual return document as such. So what we can see here is we've got the digital signing annual return document that's come through. That text code is now also referenced the client's first name. It's got that additional little text I've added in as well. And obviously it's advising it's the 2025 annual return document that is now available and due for them to check out. So going through the FewSign digital signing process, we'll see that it's super simple, and this will just take me a few short minutes to do so. We can simply hit go ahead and start signing. And what we will be able to do is add in the signature as such. Now, once that one is done, we'll actually get a notification within CAS 360. And what you will see shortly coming through to a notification bell is that the documents for this one have been signed. However, in terms of filing as such, what we will be able to do is we can head through to our document screen. And here we can see the annual return documents that we had just prepared for RMW Limited. And if I just give that a wee moment, perhaps even refresh my screen, we'll see that one come through shortly as such. And what we will be able to see in live time typically is that their status will also change over. Nope, looks like it's just come through. Perfect. You can see we've got that notification there now. So now if we actually take a look at our document screen, you will actually see that that status has been updated from FewSign sent to FewSign signed by client. Wonderful. Now you're going to be able to go ahead and file that one back or file that one through to company's office. When you are using digital signing, it's great because you will actually receive that document, that signed document back as well, and you'll be able to see that within your attachment section. But do note that I'll also be going this over in a little bit more depth shortly anyway. But once you're happy to lodge that one through, you can simply hit that lodge button and that'll be sent through to company's office as such. Awesome. So that's going to give you a little bit more of an insight around the digital signing process, how it works when it comes to the likes of preparing annual returns, both individually and in bulk. Next section I'm going to be looking to cover is some of the director changes you might be coming across each month or on a frequent basis. So to do so, let us head over to our company screen. From within here, we can simply head on into the company we might be wanting to process a director change for. Let's say CAS 360 004 Limited. Here you've got each of your different sections with that core information that relates to it. But in this case, we're wanting to check out our officers or directors tab. And let's go ahead and process a director appointment, for example. So to do this, all you'll need to do is click on the Add Officer button. From here, you'll be able to simply type in the contact's name. So if you have already got them set up as a contact within your CAS 360 database, they will appear. If not, however, super simple to set up a new contact. You can just hit that click plus to add a new contact button, and then you'll be able to set them up as a contact to be used within your database moving forward. My example, however, I've already got one in mind, so I'll just go ahead and select my contact there. It's going to then give you a quick snapshot of the address and details of said contact. We can then go ahead and list it as a director. We can leave the date as is, as it will automatically choose today's date, but if you need to set that differently, you will be able to do so. Include any notes if you would like to, and you can then go ahead and hit save. Now we can see this has been added to our officers or directors screen here, and the print toggle button has also been turned on. Now in the bottom right hand corner we can see there is the prepare forms that's been triggered by us adding this in, and we can see that print toggle as such. Once again, CAS 360 is then going to prepare all the supporting documents for this transaction, and we can see this within our document production screen as such. So for this though, what we will also actually help create and prepare is the forms that company's office actually require for this transaction. So in this case, that's the consent and certificate of director, or Form 9. If we go ahead and take a look at that one there, you will notice that this does appear to be quite different from the supporting documents that CAS 360 will help generate. And this is obviously all labelled and branded with the company's office side of things, as it is a company's office form that's required for this transaction. Now, what you will also actually probably be able to see is that this document has been auto-populated with all the core information, which is absolutely great. Not going to need to spend any time filling that one in, and it has just automatically populated off me selecting that contact and drawing from the contacts information I have so far. Once again though, a whole range of supporting documents will be created that you can choose to or not be included when sending off to your client, such as a company change summary, a director's minute or resolution, a register of officers, and as we can see, that contact has now been added in and listed up against the register as such. But you can also choose to have a shareholders minutes or resolution prepared and a consent to act form too. Here's our nice little shareholders meetings minute, as well as the consent to act form that we've helped prepare as such. Now, once again, what you will notice is you've got the options button next to the majority of those documents there, and a pen icon next to any that will require a signature line as such. However, with that director's minutes or the shareholder's minutes, you can actually change this over to a resolution. So if you're wanting perhaps everybody to sign off on that one, you can simply change that over. Once again, if you had any other template set up, you will be able to choose that one from here. And now when we go ahead and hit save, that will be applied. So if we take a look at the director's resolution this time round, we can see that it's actually got a signing line for all three of the directors this time round. Same applies to your shareholders minute or resolution. You can simply choose to change that by using the options button and changing that in between the two there. You do have a few other options that are available though. Do feel free to check those out. And of course, once you're happy with that, you'll then be able to either choose to send that off to your client using the send all button, or let's say if they're actually in person with you in the office and you're wanting to download this and print it off perhaps, you can choose to hit the download button and you'll be able to see those documents now downloaded to your computer as such. Just like that, we can see that that one has now come through. Now, the next transaction I would like to take you through as another commonly seen scenario is how you can go about resigning a company director. So let's say Clifford here is actually going to be resigning from this company as a director. What you will be able to do is just simply change the status from appointed to resigned and go ahead and hit that tick mark to have it applied. Print toggle and form preparation is now enabled. And from here, we can see within our document production screen, we've once again got the supporting documents created. And this time round, it's now going to reference that we can see the removal of Clifford Richard being referenced. What you will also see on the current company offices is that I am also, or my contact is also now referenced and set up on there as such too. So it's all obviously updating in live time, and the supporting documents will help reference all of that as such. If we go ahead and now check out the register of officers, we can now see that Clifford's got a cessation date included here too, as of today's date. Once again, completely up to you what documents you would like to perhaps send off to your client. This time with a resignation taking place, we've actually got a resignation letter that you can choose to include. And this one is just simply for the director to sign off on, officiating his resignation from said company as a supporting document. Once again though, super straightforward and simple. And if there were any other documents you might actually be looking to include when sending off these documents, but is not something we prepare within CAS 360, maybe it's a additional letter or some company documents you wanted to include, not something that needed signing, but you wish to be listed within that document pack, you can choose to use that upload button and drop in any additional documents that client might want to have perhaps. And this can be used across any of the transactions prepared within CAS 360. So another common scenario might be the likes of doing or sending off annual returns, and you would like to include a invoice on that as such. You'll be able to use that upload button all across the transactions in CAS 360. Wonderful. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and choose to download those documents as such, and we'll then have that cleared and out of our way. But let's say if there's been a change and you need to reprint or re-prepare some of those company documents, So let's say Clifford here is actually not going to be resigning today, but actually a week from now as such. What you will be able to do is you'll be able to choose to change the cessation date from now over to set date and go ahead and hit save. Now what we'll see is that cessation date has been updated, and when we go ahead and hit prepare forms, we will also be able to see that within the company change summary, that cessation date has now been updated as well. So as you can see, super straightforward. If we need to make any adjustments, simply hitting options, edit, and then you'll always be able to have that print toggle returned on as such and prepare those updated forms as needed. Fantastic. So that's hopefully going to give you a little bit more insight around the officers or directors screen as such and how to re-prepare or prepare some of your common scenarios that are most likely going to take place. Now let's go ahead and check out our shareholders screen. So this is another screen I definitely encourage as many people to check out as possible. So this will, as mentioned previously, have the shareholders balance that's been imported over from company's office and obviously lists the details of the shareholders that you have previously set up there. So here we get a nice little breakdown of our current shareholders, the number of shares they hold, and you will also get that also broken down, nice little pie chart and visual reference on the left hand side too. Now, there is also actually a live check that takes place for both your directors and shareholders. So if I quickly just jump back to the director screen, we can see that that's what that little past tick icon reference is referring to. And same for this one here, simply just letting us know that, hey, we've obviously just prepared this within CAS 360, but you haven't filed it through just yet. And once you file that through to company's office, that'll update to then show as match. So this is a live check. So do note that if we now bounce over to the shareholder screen, we can see that that one's being checked and the data is identical between both our database and company's office. So as soon as we go ahead and let's say add in transaction, will let us know of a mismatch, but that's just simply up until the stage of us filing through and reflecting it on both sides as such. So let's go ahead and actually check that one out. Let's say we do actually want to go ahead and do a share issue for some shares. We can simply head on into that, choose that option. Once again, transaction date's always going to choose today's date, but you can adjust that as needed. And I'm actually going to go ahead and choose my contact once again. Now, if the shares are actually going to be held or have a beneficial owner, you can choose to toggle that option and then be able to select that beneficial owner as such from your contact database. Or if not, you can leave that turned off and simply just make your way through the rest of the information there. With the share type, it is going to show you've got the $1 ordinary share, but if you simply type share, you will actually be able to see there is a range of different pricing options available, and you've also got a few different classes as such too. Now, let's say if there was a special share you were trying to set up or need to have available, you can simply choose to type that in, and then you will be able to choose to set up a different type of share that you might wish to be using. Simply make your way through all that as such, add in the class type, anything else you might want to do, and then you'll be able to add in that information and hit save to have it applied. I am just going to be using the $1 ordinary share example, however, simply add in the number of shares and the consideration type that you might be using, if there is a premium paid or unpaid, and if you did want to add in any notes, you are more than welcome to as well, of course. Now, what is actually really clever as well about the system, CAS 360 will actually update the certificate number based on the transaction you've prepared within CAS 360. So here we can see that it's currently listed as certificate number 1. Wonderful. If you need to add in any additional information such as the certificate location or unique numbers, you are also able to do so. Once done, however, just go ahead and hit save. And once again, what you will see is the print toggles being turned on. The share volume on the left-hand side has been updated. We can see that that's the transaction we've just prepared. And we can go ahead and prepare the forms for this transaction to go and share this on with our client as such. So once again, you'll see that CAS 360 will prepare a range of documents for that particular transaction. For this case, we've got a share certificate for that contact listing out the core information around it. But you'll also see that there is a application for shares document there as well. And once again, if you did or did not wish to have any of these included, you can simply just choose to toggle them on or off, and they will be included as such. And if we take a look at our register of shareholders, we can now see that my contact and those shares have now been added in as such. And of course, once you're happy with everything there, you're just choosing to either download it or send it off as such. In this case, just going to go ahead and choose to actually download those ones. Now, what I might actually run over is a few more different types of share scenarios you might end up coming across. This time, let's actually go ahead and do a share transfer, but this time we'll choose to do that from one of the existing members over to another one. So let's say we're going to do a share transfer from Alexia, and we'll go ahead and actually transfer those over to my contact. Once again, you're just making your way through that transaction. But let's say we think that the Alexia has about 10 shares and it was for a transfer of that amount. Oh, no. What you will notice is if you actually put in an amount that does not actually correspond with the amount they hold, which you can see here, number of shares held, 7, it'll then reference that you've actually input an amount that cannot actually be physically be done because that person does not have that amount of shares. However, you've actually re-looked at the information and realized, oh, no, it was actually only meant to be 6 out of those 7. You can then input that in and we can see that that can be done. Now what you will actually notice, however, is when we get to the certificate details, the transferor, their certificate number is going to be automatically set to 2, and the transferee will have that set to 3. So as mentioned previously, CAS 360 will automatically update that based on the transactions you're preparing within the software. And as per usual, you'll see that the print toggle button has now been turned on and forms have been prepared and will be available there for you to send off to the client for that transaction as such. This time round, if we go ahead and take a look at the register of shareholders, we can now see that my contact has been updated with 2 share transactions, including the share issue and that share transfer we just did. And if we take a look at Alexia, we can see that that share transfer out from her, who it's been sent to, the amount that was sent, and the type as such too. So a really helpful feature, obviously, keeping everything up to date and providing you with all the necessary register updates as required there as well. But you will also notice that both not only in the register of shareholders, but you'll also get that listed across the likes of your other registers within CAS 362. Now I'm just going to go over a final share scenario you might come across quite a bit, and that is a share transfer, or share issue I should say, to a joint member perhaps. So this time we'll go ahead and jump back to our transaction tab. We can go ahead and choose share issue. This time we're actually going to go ahead and select one of our joint members we've got. However, it's not actually going to be a joint member we have on this account, but one that we are going to be adding moving forward. So in this case, I've chosen Lexia Reed and myself, and simply just making your way through as per usual. Once again, what we will be able to see is that certificate number has automatically updated to be in sequence following on from the rest. And this time around, I might actually just go ahead and add in a premium paid, just to add a little bit more. As per usual, we can now see that the total share volume has been updated on the left-hand side. And of course, we've got that transaction now added in as well. Now, if you do hover over this little purple information icon next to the fully paid section, it's also going to reference the paid per share amount, premium paid, any premium that isn't paid, and otherwise the total amount that was paid. So these are the two inputs that I added earlier. I added in that $5 premium paid and the total share amount of $100 paid as such. And of course, this triggers our document production cycle. You'll then be able to go ahead and choose what documents are or are not going to be included for you that are going to be sent off to your client. And if we take a look at the register of shareholders once again, we can now see that new joint member has been added in and everything is listed there as such. Now, one thing you will actually be able to also see is there are these little arrows next to the download all and send all section. So what this is let's say you are preparing a share transfer and maybe this client is someone that takes a long time to get back to you because they're always really busy and they need a few reminders to eventually get that transaction document signed off and back to you so that you're able to then go ahead and file it through as such because that's your internal workflow that you guys follow, but you're constantly having to chase up with this client. What you are actually able to do is you can click that little arrow there and it'll say send all and set up automatic document reminders. So essentially what this allows you to do is it allows you to set up document reminders for that particular transaction. Now, once again, you do actually have the ability to be able to set these up within your settings so it's automatically applied across all other transactions. And you can also set those up for annual return documents as such. But otherwise, once you work your way through the email preview screen here, simply just a little snippet of that email the client will receive. That one will then end up making its way out to the client and we will be able to set up some document reminders for this transaction. Now, the great thing about that is you can actually choose to set up to 6 reminders in total. So you can simply just click on the reminder options there, and what you will be able to see is you can choose what date that'll be sent on. It's automatically going to be pushed forward a day from now. Second reminder is 3 more days from then. And then the third reminder is once again 3 days following on from there. Can obviously change that should you wish if you wanted to give them a little bit more time, less time, whatever it may look like as such. And of course, what time that email reminder will be sent off at. Now you do also have the ability to choose what template is going to be sent to them. So if there was a particular one you wanted to use maybe for the first 3 reminders or the first 2 or the first one even, and then from the second onwards, maybe you've got a more urgent template you might want to use to really apply that pressure and getting that document back to you as such. You've got all that customization to be able to do so. Once you're happy with that, you're just simply hitting save. And of course, you'll be able to see that this will make its way out to all those contacts that are listed in that initial email that have received those documents. Fantastic. So that's going to give you a little bit of an idea around how you can obviously prepare those share scenarios you might be coming across as such. Um, Now, if you did actually perhaps have any new staff members, one thing I might actually quickly touch on, and I'm just going to re-trigger that print toggle section so I can just show you this here, is you do actually also have the ability to have someone review the documents you are preparing and the content that's going to be making its way out. So if you did maybe have an intern or someone that's new to the business and you wanted them to be able to have it checked over before actually making its way out to the client, what you will be able to do is hit this little toggle here which says flag documents to be reviewed. There is a little note section that you can add to the reviewers, so whoever is receiving this and reviewing it will be able to check out those notes. Let's say it's maybe please check over as this is my first time doing this. Fortunately, my caps lock is on, so hopefully it doesn't actually look like we're trying to shout at someone. But nonetheless, you can add in little notes, for example, and then you'll be able to go ahead and add in a reviewer's email. So this way you can send it off to maybe one of your more senior colleagues if they're new to preparing a transaction, or you're sending it off to one of your other fellow CAS 360 gurus at the firm, so that can actually make sure that you've reviewed, included all the usual documents that you might do, and just make sure everything looks perfect before making its way out to the client. So the reviewer will have that option to be able to either confirm it's good to go, and then it'll make its way out, decline it, and that'll then come back to the preparation stage and not make its way out as such. Do hope that helps. I did just want to give you a quick little reference around that because I do know that if there are new people using the software or you have new staff members, that's probably going to be quite a helpful piece to be across. um, and share transfers or any of those sort of documents you might be looking to prepare, you'll always have that option to be able to do so and have that all reviewed as such. Wonderful. So what I am thinking is we will actually go ahead and take a bit of a break. So we'll go ahead and look to have a 10-minute tea break or so. We'll look to reconvene at about 10:57. Go ahead, stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, make a cup of tea, do whatever it is that you wish to do in the next couple of minutes, and I look forward to catching up with you all again at 10:57ish. Ta. Fantastic. Hope everybody had a nice little break, managed to stretch your leg, grab a nice cup of tea or something or other. So, without further ado, let us get back into it. So the next section we're actually going to be looking to touch on is multiple company changes. This is a great feature within CAS 360, and if you're not already using it, I do hope that this is going to help give you a nice little preview of how helpful it can be, but you'll even see it more so once you start using it yourself and trying it at the firm, because it does definitely have a whole lot of great applications. So to access this, you'll simply want to click on the multiple section on the left hand side there. Once you've done that, what you will be able to do is you'll be able to hit new change. Now essentially what the multiple company changes section is, or multiple changes section is you can essentially prepare a change that's going to be applied to for multiple companies. So let's say if we're going to be appointing a director, which is actually going to be an example I'll run through shortly, you can choose to appoint them across more than one company at a time. So this is obviously going to save you a whole lot of time as opposed to going into each company individually and doing it over and over and over again. This is going to be a much faster way of doing so. Same applies with contact address changes. You're able to update a contact address or contact and the address, and this will be able to be picked up across a range of other side of things as well, which we'll touch on shortly. And of course, if you're making any company address changes as such too. So without further ado, let us get cracking into it and we'll go ahead and we'll do an officer or director change perhaps. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and select my contact and we'll go select it as a director. Now, once again, if you did need to change that resolution date, you've got the ability to do so. Otherwise, if you're happy with everything, just keep proceeding through. Now, what you will see is you'll essentially have all your companies come up and you'll be able to go ahead and select the companies you wish to have this change applied to. So you can simply scroll down and select the ones you'd like, or you can even go ahead and use the search bar and that'll then narrow it down to. Once you're done with that, you're hitting proceed. And what we will see here is now we've had the documents prepared for both Fireside Masters and RMW Limited. My contact being set up as a director on said date. Now what we will be able to do is you'll be able to go ahead and check that document production cycle out. Once again, similar to previous that we were looking at, we've got the Form 9 attached alongside a range of different supporting documents that you will be able to choose to either have toggled on or toggled off as such. And once you're essentially happy with everything, you'll then be able to have those make it their way out to the client via email, download them if you're printing them off and got the client with you in person. And of course, as we just learnt, if you need anything to be reviewed, you can also choose to have that option enabled before being fully completed and shared with the client as such. However, as you have just seen, I've managed to prepare that within a few clicks of a button, and that is now set up and prepared for both of those companies so that I can have that filed as soon as possible. Now let's go ahead and actually check out a contact address change, as I did touch on that one lightly just before. So let's say we're looking at updating a address for a particular contact. Today's example, I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one here. So we can see that Alexia's current address is 87 Redwood, Christchurch, New Zealand. Let's go ahead and change it over to something else. Let's just say she's moving up to Auckland for the example. Once again, you can go ahead and select that resolution date. Now, what is really clever and helpful is these two additional toggles you'll be able to see here. So you can choose to apply the change where company's address or service is the same. In this case, it's advised us that, hey, no companies have been found where the same business address was used. If it is, however, which we can see down here, would we like to apply the change to other contacts with the same address? If we hover our mouse over, we can see, oh, there's another contact that's been found. And if we know that perhaps this is their partner or it's a family member that you know that you've got the records for the both of them as such, you'll be able to have that updated to reflect for both of the contacts. Now, if we did want that to be applied, you're simply just choosing to have that toggle turned on, and then that will make the change for both of the contacts as such. Once you're done, you're simply hitting proceed, and there we have it. Once again, this has now prepared it for the companies and anywhere that she might be listed as such. So for RMW Limited, we can actually see it stacked on a change as Alexia is actually a shareholder. This makes sense as we did actually do a joint member share issue to her earlier in today's webinar. For CAS 360004 Limited, she is also listed as a shareholder, and then the same applies with Superstars Pro Limited, where she is both a secretary contact and a shareholder contact as such. Now you will also see that that change has also been added on as to what type of change is taking place. And now if we go ahead and take a look at preparing the forms, we will see both of those transactions now being included in this one document pack as such. So we can see that Alexia's Reed's address has been changed, and here we've got my contact being appointed as a company director as such. So now what you will also notice is if we go ahead and take a look at the company change summary, for example, we've got that director appointment I just referenced and set up. And then we've also got a company contact change for Lexia Reed, changing from said address to this new address here. Nice and easy. Same will also be applied on the likes of your minutes and such, obviously referencing some of the changes that are taking place. Here confirming Alexia's address has been changed, and of course my contact being set as a director. Wonderful. Now perhaps we wanted to try and go about doing a company address change. So in this case, you're simply once again selecting that option there. And this time, maybe we want to update the address for service for a particular company. By example, I'm going to go ahead and choose one of my all-time favorites, CAS 360004 Limited, showing us the current address is 14 York Street. Simply go ahead and pop in the new one that we're going to be using. Once again, just pick on 123 Queen Street. And what you will actually notice is the resolution date is automatically going to be set forward 5 days in the future. Or at least 5 days, anyhow. 5 working business days, I believe it is. So we can see that that's gone forward at least 5 working days into the future. But of course, if you wanted to set that even more forward, you are also able to do so. Now, nice and clever, the system's also going to allow you to apply that change to other company addresses for this company. So if you wanted to update the address or communication or the meeting address as well, you're also able to have those options applied. Now, if you wanted to apply the change where the company's address or service is the same, we can see that one has been picked up. Oh, looks like RMW Limited also operates within the same space. You do have the option to be able to have that also set up for that company or not. Once again, it's another one of those sort of scenarios where you might have multiple businesses operating in the one area, but perhaps that area is going under renovation, such so we're moving into a new spot down the road or whatever it may look like, or a new complex or whatever it is. You will obviously be able to pick up all those in the one go, and they'll be updated accordingly. And of course, you've got the option to apply that to other contacts with the same address. If they are found, they'll simply be listed as such, similar that we can see here. Once you're happy with everything though, you're just hitting proceed. And of course, this then stacks it on to our document production pack for the company of CAS 360004 Limited, where I now have both the shareholder address update as well as the company address for service update for the business as such. And we can choose to prepare our forms and send those off all in the one go. But wait, there's one more additional little piece that might make life even easier. We know how things can get. You might have gone ahead and actually started a transaction, let's say for Fireside Masters. You ended up jumping out of the screen. You didn't actually get as far as you wanted to because a phone call came up and then you had to urgently, let's say, go ahead and appoint this director here. What you will actually notice is that you've got this little highlight section underneath of if there's another change that's ready to print. So if you go ahead and hover your mouse over that as such, we can see that, hey, you've actually you've done a transaction or a share transaction from Martha to Ra yesterday, and this is still essentially in the prepare form stage. So you can actually choose to toggle that one on. And now what we will see is we can see that that has also been added to our changes and transactions that's listed there. And if we go ahead and check out the documents, we can also see that we've got a shareholder minute now included. If we take a look at that, we can now see that there is the share transfer that was actually just only done yesterday, but we can now also include that director appointment I've literally just set up as well. So a fantastic little feature, and it's obviously going to let you know if maybe you started something but didn't get all the way through to proceeding with it. You can also see that underneath Superstars Pro Limited, where hey, the registered office address has actually had an update. We've had another contact that's been resigned as a company director. There's also been some share transfers to Alexia Reed. So once again, you can choose to have these all included simply by toggling that on or not. Fantastic. So that's hopefully going to give you a bit more of an idea around the multiple changes screen, or how you can apply changes to multiple companies and the click of a few buttons as such. Now let's go ahead and check out our document screen a little bit further. As I did reference that we'll be coming back to this one because you do and most likely will be spending quite a bit of time on this screen. Obviously, this is where you can file all of your transactions and view all of your global documents, so transactions for all documents that have taken place in CAS 360. So let's go ahead and take a look at what can be done within here. So on the left hand side, once again, we do have alert filters. So you do obviously have the ability to, let's say if you're only working on your annual returns, you can just simply filter that as such. Maybe you've got transactions that have come back and are now ready to be lodged as well, outside of just annual returns, obviously. Maybe you got a company name reservation, a company change, whatever it may look like. Or maybe you've got some documents that are actually still with clients but are yet to be signed. So in this case, this is just those that we've sent out via email, so it's not to do with the digital signature. But what you will be able to see is underneath electronic signing sent to client. Now we can see it's a few signs sent to client, or digital signing integration name, and sent to client. So with this, maybe we were actually wanting to send out a follow-up. Maybe you haven't got automated reminders turned on. So what you would like to do is just send a one-off reminder. Maybe a lot of your clients are typically pretty good, but this month in particular, there is a client that you're needing to chase up. What we will be able to do is, let's say for Fireside Masters, maybe I've done a director appointment. So here we can see I did a director appointment for this particular contact, and we're waiting to get that document back and need to file that urgently, as that was actually sent out last week on the 1st. What you can actually choose to do is hit options and choose to send a document reminder. This is then going to pull up a screen where you'll be able to see if you actually would like to attach those documents as such. Now that those original documents are attached, it might even be even easier for them to review those and get them back to you. Got the ability to change over the email template if you've got other versions set up for it as well. And of course, who that recipient is that's going to be receiving that. So super straightforward, and once you're done with that, you're just hitting send, and that'll then send out a document reminder to set contact. But just below that as well, you've also got the ability to add automatic document reminders. So once again, you've got the ability to add this. So if you haven't got them already automatically set up in your settings and you're just wanting to do some ad hoc as such, you will be able to have both future ones set up, or choose to send off one individually at that moment. Now, some of the other bits and pieces that you may need to do or come across is you might need to change a document status, for example. So let's say for this example of the company address update that we've done for Fireside Masters, where maybe a director of this business has informed us that, hey, their address for service needs to be changed. So you've gone ahead and prepared that and sent that off to a client. But then he's actually just come back to you to advise that, hey, one of the other directors have actually gone ahead and updated this already themselves manually on Company's Office. Now, what you will be able to do is you can click on the status and you will actually be able to choose to set that as manually filed. Can also choose what date that took place on, and once happy, hit save. Now what you'll see is that status will be changed over to manually filed, and now you know whenever you're trying to filter out a particular item you might be trying to chase up on, you're not going to be seeing that one there. You're aware that it's been manually filed, and what's just as great is if you check out the history of it. So if we go options, history, you will now see that it's also included in that history and everything is all nice and tidy as such. Now, I did mention you can also choose to attach external files to a document. So maybe you've sent off a annual return or something like that, and that included an invoice. Maybe they've then sent back a proof of payment or receipt as such. What you will always be able to do, once again within the options section, just going to choose this one here because it is a annual return as such, so somewhat keep it in theme. Choose attachments. You can choose to drag and drop or browse for any of your computer files to attach that to that particular transaction, and you'll always be able to refer back to that whenever you need. Now, I did also probably want to go over how you can go about and actually isolating and uploading maybe a particular form, because what you will notice is with the likes of a director's appointment, so there are particular transactions where Company's Office do require the signed form to be added, or they require that form, being the likes of Form 9, Form 3, and Form 2, I believe it is. So, referencing that example we had done earlier where we did a director appointment, we can see it's got that status updated as few signs signed, so that's wicked. That was the one I went through. You will actually notice that there is a little upload button because we do need to upload that Form 9 to be sent through to Company's Office alongside this transaction. So what you can do once again is you can hit Options Attachments. Now this is if you're using digital signing, but once again you will be able to do a similar item if you have that document on your computer essentially. But what you will be able to see is you've got your audit report in this case from FuSign. So we've got the audit report available there on the bottom hand side. And if you wanted to view any of those documents, you're simply just hitting the eye icon and you'll be able to view that as such. So here I'm viewing the signed documents that we had sent off and prepared, as well as signed off on, or previous one I should say. And we can see that we've got the Form 9 as listed down the bottom there. So if we're just looking to try and isolate this because we don't need to upload the company change for summary, but just this form here, what you are able to do is hit the print icon in the top right hand corner. You'll want to change the destination over to save as PDF. And then when it comes to a pages section, we can see that, hey, we are wanting the third page. We'll choose customized and we'll pop in 3. Now we can see that this is just locked onto the third page. And what you will be able to do is hit save. We can rename that as we need. And this will now actually download just this form here for us as a PDF document. What we will then be able to do is we can go ahead and upload that and simply drag and drop to do so, hit save and lodge to have that filed through to Company's Office. So super straightforward as you can see in terms of being able to isolate and upload any additional documents. And I just thought I'd run over that one there to give you another easy pathway to do so if you weren't already doing that one yourself, perhaps. Wonderful. So it gives you a little bit more information around the document screen, hopefully, and obviously some good little tips and tricks to be across. But do be sure to obviously check out some of those filters that you've got available, as it can really help make life a whole lot easier. Once again, if you're just trying to smash out a whole bunch of annual returns for the month ahead, or see what else that you're waiting on, or if there's any other items where you've sent them out for signing but yet to be lodged, you've got all these great little filters that will be able to help you efficiently go about your tasks that are due and anything else that might need following up as such. And of course, you've got the easy and fantastic ability to be able to send out document reminders at the click of a button. So, a whole bunch of functionalities to help you throughout the day. Now, what we are going to be checking out next is our trust functions. So, simply just heading on over to the trust section by hitting that trust button that's available on the left hand side below your company button. Here is our trust screen. So if you're not already utilizing trust, I would highly suggest you do so. Not only is it a great feature, and there's a whole bunch in there that you should be able to then go on offer to your own clients as such if you do manage trust, but it's a completely free add-on. So there's no change to your subscription cost, there's no additional fees. It's a completely free add-on that we like to offer and just allows you to be able to offer your clients another range of services as well as being able to prepare documents and record the trust transactions as such. Now, what you will be able to see as per usual, got all that key information listed up on your screen here, such as the trust name, the type of trust it could be, as well as the trustees and the date formed. But you do also have a compliance alert that's available for use as well. So if you've attached any identity documents to the individuals in a trust or turned on that trust AML CDD workflow, then you'll be able to see that that has triggered a notification depending on what's going on. But do remember, just like your company screen, you do have the filter columns option, so you can actually choose what it is exactly that you're seeing on the main screen, and you can really keep it tailored to your own working style and preference as to what it is that you need to see within a quick overview as such. Now you do have your filters on the left hand side, so maybe you're only working on family trusts or you only look after unit trusts. And the same applies with if you are needing to check out any of the compliance alerts that have been activated or turned on at that time. Now, you do have a couple of options, but we do definitely try to make things as easy as possible when it comes to assisting with the trust information in your CAS 360 system. So we do have this trust import template sheet that's available. You can simply choose to go ahead and download that one. It's simply just an Excel sheet and it does offer you fields in the instructions in order for us to be able to actually help in uploading that trust data into your CAS 360 system. Super straightforward and does just require basically the core information around the trust, such as trust name, type, formation dates, addresses, etc. But you can also add in the likes of if there's going to be any trust beneficiaries, unit holders, or even the likes of relationships as such as well. So do go ahead and check that one out if it's something that you are considering using at your firm, because once you've done that, you can either simply get in touch with myself or our support team, and then they'll be able to help upload that one into your license as such. Now let's actually go ahead and check out how you would be manually adding a trust if you were to do so. You'd simply just want to hit that add trust button and choose add new trust. Simply just work your way through the information that's needed, choosing the jurisdiction, trust type, meeting address. But what you will also notice is you will need to select the trust name, which is actually pulled off of if you have it as a contact or not. So here we can see I don't have anything set up for this particular name as a trust. If not, you can always once again hit that plus to add new button. And then from here, you'll be able to set up that trust contact so that it can then be used moving forward and setting it up as such. Now you do also have the automatic option to be able to choose, or if the trustee is a company managed in CAS 360, you will be able to go ahead and simply search for that one and have it applied. Or if it's an individual or something like that as well, you will once again be able to search for them, and they ideally should appear for you to be able to select them as well. So nice and straightforward. And once you're done, just hit save. But I've got a particular trust I'm going to be looking to use in our example today, and that is this one here, the Juniper Farm Family Trust. Now, what we will be looking to do is show you how you can go about and add in a trust relationship, for example. But what you can see, just similar to that of your company screen, you've got all your trust details and everything and related to that one, as well as a screen for any other details, tax details, and finally our relationship section as well. So here I've already set up my own contact as a trustee, but if we wanted to add in any other relationships, you can choose to hit that button to do so. And maybe we actually wanted to add in an accountant. So for an example, maybe I want to go and add in BGL as the accountant, leaving that appointment date as of today's date. Go ahead and hit save. We can now see that that information has been added to relationships and the print toggle is turned on and we're able to prepare forms for this. And from here we can actually see that a trustee minute has been prepared and so has a register of trust relationships, and we can also have a register of trust events and a cover letter included as well. What we'll do is we'll just go ahead and take a look at the trustee minutes that's been prepared. Nice and straightforward, obviously advising that we've now set up a new appointment and to be signed off by the sole trustee of the trust as per. Same with the register of trust relationships. If we go ahead and take a look at that, we can now see that that has been added in as such. Nice straightforward, easy example, but once again, you've got a range of different options when it comes to adding in relationships and whatnot, and you will be able to see all those as listed here, and it'll once again trigger that usual workflow within CAS 360 of preparing your documents, either choosing to send them off to your client or downloading them, and then making its way out to the client as such. Now, of course, you're not going to be filing any of this through the company's office, but nonetheless, if you are wanting to keep a record or track of the trust transactions and record that data and be able to obviously offer some of these services to your client as such, or if you already are but wanted to have that stored within the one database and everything, of course, CAS 360 is going to make that a whole lot easier for you too. Now, what we will go and take a look at next is the event screen. But as you're making your way over there, you've got another section for any beneficiaries, and similar to adding in relationship, you've got the ability to do so, but you can also do distributions here as well. Now, if we take a look at our event screen, I've already got some that I've previously set up within here, but what you will be able to see is it actually breaks up the information across any assets, liabilities, loans, income or expenses you might have or the trust might have, and anything else that might be recorded as well. Here we can see I've got a nice little layout of those transactions, the details and the value of it alongside the date. But if we need to see a detailed view, you can come along here on the left hand side using those filters. We can now see that this breaks it down into quite a little bit more of a detailed view on things here. So we can see that when we first set up a loan, it was a balance of 25,000. However, there was then a repayment of 5,000. It dropped the balance down. And what we will also notice is the total liabilities is also updated in accordance with that. So it's definitely a really nifty screen. And will help keep track of obviously all trust transactions and events that might be happening. But once again, if you are just trying to look at maybe the asset transactions or the liabilities or if there's been any income transactions as such, it'll be super easy to be able to filter those ones down. And otherwise, if you're happy to view everything, you will be able to as well. Now, what we will check out is adding in another trust event acquisition, perhaps. So we'll simply just hit add event. You've got, as you can see, a whole range of different options here, depending on what you're looking to do. Or simply be doing an asset acquisition. And maybe this time round, the Jennifer Farm Family Trust has got some investments going. And we'll say farm co-op investments. And it sales for a nice tidy amount of $20,000 or so. You can then go ahead and choose the details of acquisition of the asset, and we'll say maybe purchased by the trust as such. Add any notes and hit save. What's now happened is we can see that that total assets amount has gone up, and we are able to prepare forms for this as well. We go ahead and prepare forms. We can see that we've got the minutes prepared, register of trust events going on. And this time when we take a look, we've got all our historical transactions that are there, but we've also now got the farm co-op investments with the an extra investment of 200,000, not 20,000, apologies. But either way, nice chunky investment that we can now see that's listed on there and alongside all the other transactions that they might have performed or completed within the system. And you do also get that total down the bottom once again as well. Fantastic. So that's hopefully going to give you a little bit more of a idea around sort of the trust functions you're able to perform and obviously the documents that CAS 360 will help with as such. But once again, go ahead, check this out a whole lot further. It's a great little addition that you're able to offer to your clients, and there's some great functionalities within there. So if you're not already making most of it, at least now you know hopefully a little bit more about how you can do so. Now, I did mention that we do have a range of reports on hand, which I did touch on earlier for the likes of the annual return listing report. But once again, if we just go ahead and click on that report section, what you will be able to see is you've got range to all these different types of reports, ranging from a couple of AML reports, additional types, trust registers, trust reports, company registers, and some company reports. What I would like to do is touch on a couple of the perhaps more commonly used ones or ones that you might find useful as such. And first, I'll kick off with the company listing report. So the company listing report is going to be a nice little report that obviously lets you pr- break down a whole bunch of information into one go. So here we can see I've automatically selected that, or it's automatically selected it for all my companies, but if I only wanted it for a select few, I can deselect it and choose the ones I want, but happy to have that for all of those ones there. Now, if we did want to have any filters applied by that to see which companies we're checking out, but we can also adjust the report settings and what will be shown in that report itself. So maybe we did want to see if it's a current client. Maybe we do want to see the partner that's associated with it. Maybe we do want to see the incorporation date, but we don't want to see the labels. Example, we can just turn that one off, nice and simple, and go ahead and export that out as a PDF file. Now what we'll do is we can take a look at that and we have that report breaking down a range of information that we've set up for it. So we can obviously see the company number, type of company it is, the status, there's a client number attached and what partner might be attached to. This is typically quite often used to see if you are trying to get a grasp of which partners are associated with which companies. That's a nice, easy way to do so. But if you also wanted to see when their annual return was last filed, or maybe the incorporation date, obviously got the settings to be able to adjust that and add those on or remove so that you're getting a report that's showing you what you might be after. Next we report I'd like to show you is the company report. So this is more of a individual company report that dwells down onto one exactly and into a whole lot more detail for just that one, if you will. So let's say we'll go ahead and choose CAS 360004. Once again, you've got a bunch of report settings you can choose to have included or not. But if we go ahead and check out that report there, what we will now get is a full overview of that particular company and everything around it. So we can see that we've got the core company details, the addresses, if there's any ultimate holding companies included, but also the current company directors, including the one that we'd prepared earlier there, alongside any shareholding that would be listed under it, including the ones we did earlier as well. And of course, if there's been any dividends, business activities, and at the very bottom of it, you'll also get a nice little breakdown of all the documents you've prepared for this company within CAS 360. So this can be quite a nice little way, and I do refer a few clients to reference this section if they are sort of wanting to get an idea of how much or what they've done for a client over the last year or couple of years as such. This is going to be a great place to do so. Or if maybe their clients requested, they wanted to know all the different transactions that have been prepared for them, and you've had them listed in CAS 360 for the duration of their time and done all their transactions in there, then it's going to turn out something a little bit like this, referencing everything that's all been done and the dates, etc. Further to that, we do have a couple of other reports I wouldn't mind showing you. These are more sort of utility reports, if you will, and that probably includes the address usage report. So just underneath our other report section, we've got the address usage. So what you are able to do is essentially if you try and track down where a particular address is used, you are able to view all the addresses you have in your address database within CAS 360, or you can just simply search for one as to what you have in mind. Once again, we'll go with that 123 Queen Street option. You've got the report settings if you are wanting to adjust anything in that final report. And if we go ahead and take a look at that now, what we will be able to see is the address of 123 Queen Street, all the contacts or entities that might be using that one, and where they're using it for. So this also includes the recent changes we've actually just done, such as that for Alexia Reed when we updated it for her residential address underneath multiple changes. But same also applies to when we had done that for the other members as well. And of course, you can see that listed everywhere and anywhere it is. Great little report, especially if you try and track down where there's maybe any mismatches within your own sort of address databases or where else a particular address might be associated if you're updating your database or trying to clean up any of the data you've got within there. Something that might happen if you've got duplicate contacts and any mismatches as such. And on top of that, you've also got a people group report. So the people group report is essentially going to give you a breakdown on a particular person. So in this case, let's go ahead and choose my contact from earlier today. Cool. Go ahead and we can select that one there. As per usual, you've got your report settings you can choose to adjust or not. Go ahead and export that one out. Now when we take a look at it, this is a report that basically details everything around a particular contact. And as we can see here, it's got all these sort of key details around addresses, positions such as directors, as well as shareholdings, if you're a trustee or representative of anything. It's going to be a nice little report as well. Fantastic. So, a couple of nice little reports I wanted to go over with you. Once again, that was the address usage report, people group report, as well as the company's listing and company report. But as you notice, there are a whole lot of other ones that are available there for you to use. So go ahead, check them out, and yeah, hope they are of help to you and the firm. Now, what I will be looking to go through next is our settings section. Simply just furthest bottom on the left-hand side there. So within here, you will be able to access essentially all your settings, and that also includes being able to access your document and email templates. So I'll first kick off with the document templates. So your document templates, you will be able to reference by the left-hand side. So if maybe we're wanting to edit our annual return or updating our annual return cover letter, you will be able to find all those within here as well. But this also includes everything from your director's minutes to extensive shareholding list or the first director's minutes. Essentially all the documents within CAS 360 that are prepared for you will be able to be found, and you can choose to customize them from here as well. To do so, super straightforward. You just hit options, download. This is going to download a Word document, as they are all just Word documents. And while that one is loading up, lovely, wonderful. So what you will be able to see here is we've got our Word document or the document template for the annual return. Now, once again, we can see that we've actually got some text codes or merge fields in use here. So essentially, we know that this one's going to auto-populate with the company name, company number, etc., etc. But essentially, makes life a whole lot easier, and you can essentially just choose to use our merge fields and add in any other custom text that might be of help. So if you've got any particular wording you might want to use or add in, you are always welcome to do so. But then obviously all that sort of information that's going to be auto-populated can simply listed or be streamlined by using our merge fields as such. So instead of you obviously having to type out the directors' names and such and their associated details, we can automatically pull that through. Now, if you are wondering where you can actually find these text codes, you can simply access all of this either by heading through to the help section on the New Zealand help page and choosing the CAS 360 dictionary. From here, you'll be able to see you've got both the document template codes and email template codes. And if we head into the annual return one, here we can see we've got all these different text codes for this document, and it also lets you know of where it's also sourcing that one from, as well as what it's going to be referencing. So if we did want to have a holding company name included, then we'd simply use this one here by copying and pasting that to our Word document. If we did want to have particular company addresses included, we know these are the codes we'd look to use, so on and so on. Now, once you're done essentially editing that template, all you would need to do is just hit upload. You can then go ahead and drag and drop or select that one there, and then that will then be available for you to use moving forward. And this is something I suggest all firms do so. You can obviously customize the documents so they reflect your branding a whole lot more, chuck in a logo up if you use any specific fonts or anything like that as well. Nice and easy, and really nice way to be able to sort of add your own feel onto all the documents and transactions you'll be preparing so that clients have that brand impact from your own end as such too. Now for the email templates, slightly different. As you did see, you do have a separate section for the email template text codes underneath the CAS 360 dictionary. But once again, nice and straightforward. You can simply just go ahead, click on that one there, and it's opened up. And this is then referencing the email fields and text codes that are going to be used, as well as showing any company logos or anything you've set up. As mentioned previously, you are also able to use this in the subject line too. So if you've got any text codes you're looking to use for a particular email template, you will also be able to have that included in the subject line. Just bear in mind if you are going to be using a manual signing annual return, this does just differ to our digital signing annual return. So you've also got a digital signing annual return email. This version is just slightly different, of course. But once again, super straightforward to update. You've got a whole bunch of text codes you can use to add any logo, branding, etc., etc. Once you're done, you're just hitting update, and that'll then be applied. If you did want to create a new one though, simply hit create new, and then that creates a new base copy based off of the master or default copy that we have there available for you, and you can go ahead and customize that to your heart's content. Now, another little area within the settings section that you might be interested in is the email settings. So you do actually have the option to purchase a custom email address. It isn't something we provide, but through Amazon SES services. So there is an additional cost for this, as it is a purchase through their own services as such. But we do actually give you the ability to use the user's full name as the sender name, so this isn't changing the email over as such, but if you did want to change it over, so in my case, instead of it saying the email is coming from Ra Williams, it would be saying it's coming from the X accounting firm limited, or whatever it is that you wish for the sender name to be. So you've always got that little custom option as well. Maybe if all emails will just be coming out from one that references the firm, or if it's going to be coming from a director or partner, maybe they want it to say something else or particular naming style as such. They've got that option to do so. But if not, you can choose to toggle that off and it'll just simply say the user's name as the sender field. So that's not updating the email, bear in mind. It'll still come from a CAS 360 email address. However, the sender will obviously reference whatever it is that you wish it to. Now, you are also able to set it up so that either the username is the reply to address, so the email that's been logged into the CAS 360 account and that particular user, or you can set up a completely different option and choose to have that toggled off and set up that reply to address to come back to where you would please. So this just simply means that when a client that you've sent documents to from transaction from CAS 360 to a client as such, they will be able to hit reply, and this will instead come back to this email or whatever one you might have listed in that reply to address field. Some other nifty little options though, you can CC in partners, managers just by default. Same with BCC as well. But if you did like, you can also CC in any billing contacts on annual return emails for electronic signing. Once done with everything, as always, just be sure to hit that save button. So that's hopefully going to give you a little bit of a breakdown around the settings as such. What I would like to take you through next is our AML and CD workflow that's available, as well as the identity verification tools that you've got on hand that you might want to be utilizing as well. So I'm just going to simply head on into one of my text companies I've got. On the far right hand side, you've got that compliance tab. So for this, to simply have that workflow toggled on, you'll just need to turn that on as such. If you don't want it on, it's automatically already applied as off anyway, but it's just once you've turned it on, you'll then be able to start making your way through it and adding in the supporting information to help with this. So first it'll kick off with obviously the start date as such, and once you're done you can enter the completed date, but you'll go ahead and add in the person that's completed this. If you wanted to upload any supporting documents, you've also got the option to do so, and then you can simply hit next to make your way through it. First up, we've got nature of business relationships. So here we see I've already added one as such, but if you need to add another one, you can simply add that option. We've got a range of drop downs that are available there for you to use, but you do have free text available as well. You can simply add in any custom notes and upload any supporting documents that might help reference the nature of business relationship that's been stated, and go ahead and add in as many or as little as you need to. Once you've worked your way through that one there, you'll essentially keep making your way through. And what you will notice is you can also bounce back in between simply by clicking on the name of it, and you'll get a green little tick mark that shows once you've added everything in for that section. So if I was to perhaps leave anything out, it would let me know. Source of funds, nice and straightforward. You're either choosing to have that on or not. Adding in any text that helps references and the supporting documents as well. From there, you've got your individual section, and this is going to cleverly pull in all your current directors and shareholders associated with said company. So here we've got Alexia, who's got a shareholder tag next to her and shows a shareholding percentage. We've got a nice little tag next to Barden showing he's a director and joint shareholder as well. And then same with Clifford, who has a director tag and joint shareholder once again. And then the one we actually added in earlier today, both as a director and shareholder, we can see also listed as well. Now, what you will be able to do is you can actually have the compliance and due diligence workflow toggled on or applied against individuals as well. So we can see here, I've just simply toggled that one on, and then that's now referenced any identity documents I've got uploaded up against that contact as such. Um, and if not, you can always leave that as per anyhow. But once again, you see you've got that option for all of your individuals and anything else you might wish to have included, such as the pet check or source of funds. And you can go ahead and upload identity documents or other documents as such to help with this as well. Now we'll come back to this one a little bit soon because this is also where you can access the identity verification options, but it can also be done directly from the contact screen. So we'll go ahead and check those ones out shortly. Now, as you keep making your way through here as well, you'll be able to see you've got a risk assessment section where you can select what exactly determines that risk option and any supporting text and documents that might help, adding in as many or as little as you need. Once again, a range of different drop-down options for you to use. And as I mentioned earlier, if you've got any additional feedback or there's other options you would like to be seeing within here or anywhere along the way, please don't hesitate to drop us a line using that feedback button or reach out to me directly, but especially using that feedback button for anything you might like to see or you have been enjoying within this, as we're always ears to hear it. Now down the bottom section, you've also got the option to set the overall risk rating, so basically based on the above as such, and of course what level of CDD is going to be required for it. Keep making your way through once you've completed everything, adding in any notes you might want to, and once done you'll be able to simply choose who that has been completed by, date completion, and when next review might be required. Now we do have this center reviewer option as well, so we could actually send it off to a reviewer to be reviewed as such. Simply popping in the reviewer's email, adding in any notes that might help with this, and then the reviewer will be able to access that and either approve or deny, obviously, if there's any other changes or any other bits and pieces that the firm might want to be included or additional supporting documents. It's all completely able to be done from there as well. Now, what you will be able to see is if you do end up starting, but you have to jump away, there is also a save for later button. So if there's anything else you might need to come back to, you'll simply be able to do so. However, once everything is completed, so let's say we've also completed that as of today's date, now got that tick mark applied. We're not having anything set for our individuals as such. If we did, simply adding that one on. So let's say we rule for these two people perhaps, or this contact perhaps. But anyway, once you're done, what you will be able to do is choose to download a compliance report. So this is available once you've added on all the information. Everything is there to be compiled into the compliance report. Do note that that can also be accessed from the report screen as well, but once you've got everything completed, you can also do so from here. And go ahead and take a look at that. So this is now compiled based on everything we've inputted in there, as well as the core company details. Got the addresses where we might have turned on compliance and due diligence for, so we can see the compliance officer, the start date, when the next review is going to be due, and of course, what nature of business relationships we've added in there, the notes we've added in when adding source of funds, alongside the individuals that are associated with this company. Now, if we what you will also notice is if there is a identity document attached to an individual, you'll see that one listed there. Here we can see that we've got Barton Stout who has driver's license, and same with my own contact. And of course, everything else around it too. So a nice little report that can be created, and hopefully this also help in obviously keeping compliant and being able to just generate that all in the one go within CAS 360. So we're just making it all that single source of truth and one place you can operate out of for just about everything. Now, what I did mention earlier is that we do actually have some identity verification options that are available. So what I did want to do is actually just quickly touch on this here, and I can even take you through what that would look like from a client's side as well. So let's say for this one here, we can see I had actually set one off previously, but it's now informed us, hey, the identity information request sent to this contact has expired. So maybe we were wanting to do that one once again, and we would like to do or have this person complete a identity verification, or we need to verify their identity as such. We've got a couple of options. So you can choose to either request ID verification, which is essentially going to send an email off to them using BGL ID to have them input their driver's license and complete that check to verify their identity. Or if you've got the driver's license on hand and you would like to verify their identity as such, you've got that verify identity option. So in short, verify identity is if you've got all the details on hand. Request ID is if you don't and you would like to ask them to do it to do so. Now we do actually have a couple of options on hand when it comes to verification ID if you have the information there. So our integration partner for this being the likes of CloudCheck. So if you've got a CloudCheck subscription or have used CloudCheck previously, then at least you know that you've got this great integration available and you'll be able to carry on doing so and using them as you normally have. However, what we have also done is we've also created our very own BGL ID. So this is an in-house tool created by the BGL team, allowing our clients and firms to be able to utilize another option. And the great thing about this is it's not based on a subscription or monthly or rolling amount. It is simply charged on a usage basis only. So if you only do a couple of checks this month and you have none next month, that's totally fine because it will only bill you for those that you have done it for, and will always be there and available for you to use as such. So this is really good for firms that might have a lot of swings and roundabouts in terms of shoulder seasons and such, and is definitely worth checking out if you haven't already done so. Now, let's actually go ahead and see what it would be like for a particular client to go through this process. So we can simply hit request ID verification. And from here, you'll be able to simply select the type of check you're looking to do. So once again, just bear in mind that this is only available for these three options here. So you've got the government ID check, which will actually compare up against the government ID as well as anti-money laundering and global sanction databases. But you do also have the advanced check, which compares those three databases as well as the adverse news database. So this is quite a good option if you've got a client that's been overseas or has been overseas for a long time and you're wanting to check out, obviously, if there's been any bad press or media around the world anywhere. And same with politically exposed persons as well. That's quite a common option. And lastly, we have also brought out our very own biometric scanning option too. So do just bear in mind this is for driver's licenses only, but we are hopefully looking at adding in some more options and great extras in the future too. But in the meantime, you've got these three options available for you. And it does also reference the pricing down the bottom as such. So if you only do the one standard check this month, you're only getting billed that $9. Let's say if you did two biometric scans next month, you're only getting billed for those two. If you do none, of course, you're not getting billed for any of them. Now you will also have the option to set up a automated reminder or not. Of course, a nice easy way to do so. And once it's been completed, whether you'd like that email completed verification side of things to come back to sender, client, or both even, or not, or none of them at all. Once you're happy with the option you're going to be using, simply toggling which one it is that you are, you can go ahead and hit proceed. We'll then get a nice little preview email screen similar to most workflows in CAS 360. You need to CC or BCC anyone in, as well as being able to adjust the information in said email. So maybe I'll go ahead and make bold and highlight the area where it says that this will expire in 21 days to really reinforce that we would like them to do this one as soon as possible. But of course, if there's anything else you need to add in, you are able to do so. Once we're happy with everything there though, just be sure to hit send. And now this will make its way out to our client, which in today's example, ironically, is going to be myself. So we'll go ahead and refresh my screen and that should hopefully come on through to me. But you will also get that little notification in the top right hand side that also references it would have made its way out. There we go. Oh, no, not quite actually. This one here. No, no, that was actually that first one I had there. Mm. Looks like it's taking a little bit to come through to me, but that's all right. I'll just reference one of my older ones, but as you can see, I've still got that email here. Oh, there we go. Actually, it's just come through. Wonderful. So as we can see, we've got that there. the identification verification request email that we were just looking at. We've got that additional text that I'd added in, and of course, the changes I'd made too. So now, super straightforward, we'll just go ahead and hit verify identity. Now, what it will first do is it's going to request a code that's going to be sent to that email. Security and obviously such is quite important. So once you've got a few of these safeguards in place, perfect. Now got that code that we can simply pop into here. And bearing in mind this is the exact same process the client would be going through as well. Here it's loaded in the current information that we've got for that contact. So we can see the contact name, address, and birth details that we had listed up against their CAS 360 contact. What they will simply be able to do is they can just follow these steps here in which they need to go in and add the driver's license identification document and information. Simply just going through and filling that out as such. So once they've added that in, they will then be able to go through and submit it. However, what I did also want to quickly reference, because it is a new feature we've added in, and it does actually use one of our other internal tools that we have available, and that is the option for them or the client to be able to upload a picture of the front and back of the driver's license here, and this will actually auto-populate the details here instead. So just another area where we've tried to help make things as easy and as efficient as possible, especially on the client's end there. So super simple for them to be able to just take a picture of the front and back and upload that one in. Or if they're happy to, of course, they can just go in and submit that information like I have done so here. Once they're done though, they'll go ahead and hit submit. They do obviously need to provide that they are happy for this to be done, so there is the consent that needs to be given as such. But otherwise, nice and straightforward. Once you hit consent and submit, that'll go through and start making its checks against the databases. And typically, you'll get a result back really quickly. Can be a couple of minutes as such, or even just a minute to get that one back. And what will end up happening, which I can show you, is within your contact screen, or what you will see up against your contacts moving forward, is if we head to a contact where I've done this previously. And what you will see here, so for the likes of Ronald Lopez, he's got that nice green tick mark next to his icon. And we can also see that it's been verified using BGL ID there. And if you head into the contacts compliance section, what we will also notice is that there is a identification verification report that's available, but you do also get a nice little snapshot that's available straight off the bat. And you can even hover your mouse over this to let you know straight away what it's verified, that the name matched, what was used, such as the driver's license. It does use driver's license, but it shows that it also matches that type, and of course everything else for this as such. If you did want to view that verification report though, you can choose to either download it or hover your mouse over it and click the eye icon to view the file, and this is the verification report that it will also provide you with. Nice and straightforward, and as you can see, nice and easy to be able to distinguish which ones you have verified or may not have. Now, for another example, we'll go ahead and show you one where they might not have passed. We can see here for the likes of Bart Simpson, where it's actually got a red exclamation mark, and it's advised us, hey, it's failed on said date earlier this year. We'll also once again give you a nice little snapshot of it, letting you know what did not exactly line up and where it's failed as such. Same applies with the verification report. Nice and straightforward, and letting you know of that one there. Fantastic. Well, that is basically just about everything for today. Do hope that today's session has been of help, and hopefully you're going to be taking away a few different areas, both between the company screen, trust functions, obviously the AML and compliance workflow, as well as the verification, identity verification options you've got available for individuals. We've also gone through some of the key features like you would with the likes of annual returns and filing and preparing those both individually and in bulk. But otherwise, do be sure to check out sort of those other areas you might not have been familiar with so far, such as multiple changes screen, the reports, or even adjusting some of those settings. Do go ahead and customize your templates, make them snazzy and really have the brand feeling. But at the same time, if there's any other wording or particular pieces you wanted to see in there, you can add that in. And as mentioned, if you're loving anything in particular, you're welcome to use that feedback button. Same goes with if there's any modifications or adjustments you think would be a great addition to the software and would be of benefit to all users such as yourself, yeah, please don't be shy. But otherwise, a very big thank you to everybody that has come along today. Um, what I will be doing is sticking around for the next couple of minutes or so. So I'll hang around to about 15 passes. I have actually wrapped up slightly earlier than usual. But yeah, as mentioned, I'll be here for the next 5 minutes alongside my panelists. So if you did have any questions, you're more than welcome to send those through. At the same time, if you wanted to take a minute and sort of think about things, or you want to review the webinar recording, that one will be available in the upcoming months. Currently, there is our last monthly training, or one of our previous monthly training webinars that's available on our YouTube channel. So you can always check that out because that's the same content in the meantime. Um, or if you simply just got any notes that you're trying to refer back to, or you looked at something in the training manual that you would like to know a little bit more about, but want to check it all out first, feel free to flick me an email or give me a call at when you are ready and have checked that out, or wanted to check in with someone else before sending those questions through. You're more than welcome to do so as well. But otherwise, we will obviously still be here for another 4 minutes or so. But yeah, once again, a big thank you to everybody that's taken the time out of their day to come and join us. Do hope it's been of help. And yeah, hopefully look forward to seeing you get more usage out of the software as such.